You feel it, don't you?
Oh, I think everyone listening feels it right now.
Yes. It is this subtle, undeniable tremor right beneath the floorboards of your everyday life.
Right, a restlessness.
Exactly. A restlessness that keeps pulling at the edges of your sleep. Welcome. I want you to, just settle in for a moment.
Yeah, take a breath.
Quiet the noise of the rushing world. Anchor yourself to this conversation. Because the fact that you have found your way to this deep dive...
It's not an accident.
No, it is not some algorithm's accident. It is a divine appointment. You are here because you are carrying a weight that, it feels like something unfinished.
Like a lingering question you can't quite articulate?
Yes, exactly. And I am speaking directly to that quiet, knowing part of you. Listen to me. You are not losing your way.
That is so important to establish right up front.
You are standing on the precipice of a profound transition, and it is entirely real.
It is. And that tremor you're feeling, it's measurable.
Yeah.
Both psychologically and, contextually.
Tell them what we are uncovering today.
So our mission in this deep dive is to synthesize the architecture of what is actually happening to you right now. We are examining this incredible convergence.
The rare convergence, yeah.
Right, a convergence of historical, psychological, and astrological frameworks. And they all map out this massive turning point.
A threshold.
Exactly. Specifically, we're looking at the mechanics of a rare energetic window. It's opening between March 16th and a major solar alignment in April.
Which is approaching so quickly.
It is. And we are going to deconstruct the hidden psychology of the preparation you've been enduring. And critically, we need to break down the phenomenon of threshold resistance.
Ah, the friction.
Right, that intense, disorienting friction that universally occurs just before a person steps into a higher state of functioning or purpose.
As we stand at this threshold together, I want you to consider this. What if the heavy, suffocating exhaustion you have been carrying lately?
Yeah.
What if it is not the weight of your past failures pressing down on you?
Wow. What a reframe.
What if, instead, it is the immense, concentrated weight of your true purpose loading into you?
That distinction changes the entire paradigm, doesn't it, of how we view our struggle.
It changes everything.
Because to truly grasp the mechanics of this current breakthrough, we first have to decode those agonizing seasons of delay that came before it.
The hidden years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we misdiagnose the symptoms of our past isolation, we will completely mishandle the opportunities of our present.
We must examine the hidden architecture of your preparation. For years, you have walked a path that defied all logical sense.
It really has.
You watched doors slam shut just as your hand brushed the handle.
Oh, man.
You saw alliances fade and plans collapse right before the harvest. And in the silence of those moments, it is so easy to ask the heavens why your road is steeped in such heavy shadow.
Why is it so hard?
Right. But hardships are not punishments handed down by a cruel universe. They are the unseen forces of destiny, carefully, meticulously rearranging the blueprint of your foundation.
Right. And if we look at the ancient texts and historical archetypes we're analyzing today, they actually provide a brilliant psychological framework for this.
Give us the example of Joseph.
Yeah, so take the historical allegory of Joseph. Here is a figure who spent over a decade in a literal pit and an unjust prison.
A dark, forgotten place.
Forgotten by everyone, right, before he ever stepped foot into the palace as a leader of Egypt. And, the conventional reading just pities him for those lost years.
They call it a tragedy.
Exactly. But the deeper analytical insight reveals a mechanism of profound psychological construction. Joseph didn't become a leader in the Egyptian palace.
No, the palace merely revealed the preparation.
Right. The palace revealed the executive function, the radical empathy, and the resilience he was forced to develop in the dark.
The prison stripped away his reliance on external validation.
Yes, it forced an internal consolidation of his identity. Those years of invisibility, they weren't a delay in his timeline.
They were an incubation.
They were a necessary incubation period, yeah.
I want you to visualize the dark, suffocating heat of a master blacksmith's forge.
Oh, that's a powerful image.
When a swordsmith is forging a blade of legendary resilience, they do not just pour liquid metal into a mold and let it passively cool.
Right, that would be fragile.
They place the raw iron into the blazing fire, they strike it with a heavy hammer.
Flattening it out?
Yes, flattening it, folding the metal back onto itself, and then thrusting it right back into the flames. Heat, strike, fold.
Just over and over again.
To the raw iron, this process must feel like absolute destruction.
It must feel like the end.
But we know the truth of the fire. The heat is altering the very carbon structure of the steel. The hammer is driving out the microscopic impurities.
Dead weaknesses.
The very flaws that would cause the blade to shatter in battle. The isolation you endured. The years where you felt entirely misunderstood by those around you.
Yeah.
That was not abandonment. That was the sacred, deliberate ground of the forge. You were learning to stand upright without the crutch of the crowd.
And, I mean, the friction arises because that process of tempering flies directly in the face of our modern neurological conditioning.
Explain that, because our culture fights this stillness.
Absolutely. We exist in a cultural framework designed around the dopamine loops of instant gratification.
Yes, give it to me now.
Exactly. We demand visible, daily metrics of our progress. When we invest energy, we expect an immediate return.
We want the harvest the day after we plant the seed.
Right. So when a person enters a prolonged season of, as you said, the forge, their brain, which has been wired by this fast-paced culture, interprets the lack of visible external movement as a catastrophic failure.
It is a profound misdiagnosis.
We confuse divine stillness with stagnation. It's a cognitive bias. Think of a bamboo tree.
Bamboo, yes.
For the first 5 years, you see absolutely nothing above ground. Nothing.
It's just dirt.
Just dirt. All the growth is happening in the root system, creating a foundation complex enough to support the tree when it finally shoots up 90 feet in a matter of weeks.
It is staggering.
If you judge the bamboo in year 3 by its visible output, you fail to understand the biological mechanics of its preparation.
You, my friend listening to this, you have spent years locked in that deep root growth.
You really have.
You have endured the heavy strikes of the hammer, wondering if the shaping would ever end. But observe the air around you now.
It's changing.
Something has shifted. A specific, undeniable turn in the cosmic timeline is signaling that the heavy iron doors of your forge are finally swinging outward.
Finally.
The season of hidden preparation is giving way.
Let's look at the mechanics of this shift, because the astrological and energetic data we are reviewing points to a highly specific timeline.
Yes, the dates are crucial here.
Very much so. We're looking at March 16th as a critical mathematical threshold.
March 16th.
Right. In astrological terms, when massive planetary bodies transition between signs, which is happening right in this exact window, it historically correlates with macro shifts in the collective unconscious.
A global turning of the page.
Exactly. March 16th marks the pivot point, where the long cycles of internal preparation begin to transition into external manifestation.
The roots push above the soil.
Yeah, but the true accelerator engages around March 19th.
A new moon.
Coinciding with the new moon, yes. This opens up a 30-day period leading up to a rare solar system alignment in April. And this specific window is defined by a principle of compression.
Compression. Let us pause and hold that word up to the light for a moment.
It's a big concept.
What does a compounding window of compression truly mean for the soul listening to us right now?
It means an alteration in the normal rules of cause and effect.
How so?
Well, in a standard temporal framework, the gap between an action and its consequence is Y. You plant a seed and you wait a whole season.
Right. The long delay.
But during this 30-day bridge, the energetic gap shrinks. We could look at this through the lens of cognitive momentum combining with synchronicity.
It speeds up.
Dramatically. When the environment is primed, the distance between what you do and what comes back to you tightens. Movement is instantly rewarded.
It's instantly rewarded.
Yeah. What feels like a frustrating slow delay in your life right now is actually the physics of a coiled spring.
Pushing down.
Pressure is being applied not to halt your movement, but to concentrate your potential energy so it can be released as kinetic energy all at once.
I hear the mechanics of this, and it is beautiful, but I must press into this concept a bit.
Sure.
Because I know the human heart's tendency to seek the path of least resistance.
Oh, we all do it.
When we speak of cosmic alignments and the universe paving the way, the temptation is to sink into a passive, dormant spirituality.
Right. To just let it happen.
To recline, look up at the stars and whisper, the universe is doing the work. I will simply wait for the harvest to fall into my hands.
Yeah, that's a dangerous trap.
Tell me, from the sources we are deep diving into, does this window give us permission to let the cosmos do the heavy lifting?
It absolutely does not. Passive waiting is the exact opposite of what compression requires.
Do that again?
Passive waiting is the exact opposite of what compression requires. The data is incredibly explicit here. During this specific window, direction matters fundamentally more than speed.
Direction over speed.
Right. An alignment does not do the walking for you. It merely removes the barricades from the road.
It clears the path.
Exactly. If you remain completely static, you miss the momentum of the current. This window responds to intentionality.
You have to step onto the path.
If you make small, deliberate moves toward your calling, those actions will compound rapidly because the environmental friction is lowered.
You cannot just think about it.
No. Clarity does not come from sitting still and thinking. Clarity is generated through action.
It is the stark difference between a ship sitting at anchor and a ship with its sails hoisted.
Oh, that's a perfect way to put it.
The wind of this alignment is blowing across the water. But if your sails are tied down in passive waiting,
The wind just goes right past.
the wind will simply rush past your masts. You must raise the sail. You must commit to the step. But I want to prepare you for something.
And this is the part people get tripped up on.
Yes, as you take that step, you will notice a strange phenomenon. The things you once loved, the places you frequented, even certain relationships that used to offer you deep comfort,
Yeah.
they will suddenly feel flat. They will feel suffocating, like trying to force your arms into a coat you outgrew a decade ago.
That specific feeling of outgrowing your environment is actually a key diagnostic indicator that you are entering this window.
It is proof of growth.
It is.
Yeah.
There is a psychological concept known as environmental pruning.
Environmental pruning.
When your internal frequency, your core values, your baseline of awareness, your goals, when that shifts to a higher level, holding on to habits or relationships that operate on your old baseline creates intense cognitive dissonance.
It hurts to stay the same.
It creates intense friction. The universe, or your own elevated subconscious, is actively clearing your path.
Removing the dead branches.
Those old connections are fading because they simply cannot survive the atmospheric pressure of your new destination.
You do not belong there.
Right. Trying to force those old puzzle pieces into a new picture actively blocks the new alignment from taking root.
And this brings us to a profound and very often misunderstood paradox.
Which is?
If the universe is finally aligning in your favor, if the compounding window is open, and if you are finally raising your sails, why does the air suddenly feel so incredibly heavy?
The resistance.
Why do you feel as though you are wading through thick, dark mud? Why are you waking up at 3 a.m. with a cold awareness, a sudden breathless pressure sitting squarely on your chest?
Yeah.
Walk with me here, because we must uncover the unseen warfare that guards the threshold.
And we really need to address this because the physical symptoms you just described, the sudden 3 a.m. wakings, the chest pressure, the pervasive sense of dread.
It is terrifying when you don't understand it.
It is. And they are frequently reported by individuals on the verge of massive life transitions. From a purely neurobiological standpoint, major transitions trigger the brain's threat detection centers.
Your brain thinks you are in danger.
Exactly. But the frameworks we are studying elevate this beyond simple biology. They frame this intense, disorienting pressure over the last few days as a coordinated spiritual counterattack.
A counterattack. Because you are a threat.
The logic is simple.
Right.
Resistance forces do not waste energy attacking individuals who are stationary.
If you are not moving, you are not a target.
Right. If you're experiencing this acute level of pressure, it is a direct confirmation of your trajectory.
Yes.
Something in the unseen realm recognizes exactly how close you are to the breakthrough that disrupts the status quo.
To understand the insidious nature of this resistance, look with me at the ancient paradigm of the prophet Elijah.
Such a classic case study.
Picture him standing on the summit of Mount Carmel. He has just experienced the most spectacular, undeniable victory of his life.
He called down fire.
He called down fire from the heavens. He stood entirely alone against 450 false prophets and witnessed their utter defeat.
A massive display of power.
The drought broke. The rain returned. The power of the divine was manifest. He was at the absolute zenith of his spiritual and physical strength.
He couldn't get any higher.
And yet, what happened next?
What followed is a masterclass in the psychology of warfare.
Explain it.
A messenger arrived from Queen Jezebel carrying a single whisper. Just one concise, verbal threat to his life.
Not an army, not a legion of chariots.
No, just a sentence. And that single whisper completely unraveled him. Elijah, the man who commanded the sky, fled in terror into the barren wilderness.
He ran away.
He collapsed beneath a broom tree, and he prayed for his own death. He was entirely depleted.
From a whisper.
From a whisper. This illustrates a critical vulnerability, the post-achievement adrenaline crash. When the cortisol spikes of a massive victory wear off, the human system experiences a profound emotional void.
You are empty?
The enemy does not strike when you are weak and failing. The enemy strikes when you are emotionally and spiritually exhausted after a massive breakthrough.
He waits for your shield to drop.
He waits for your defenses to lower and then delivers a subtle blow aimed directly at your identity.
I need you to hear this truth in the very depths of your spirit. The primary weapon deployed against you in this season is not physical sickness.
Right.
It is not financial ruin. It is not the external doors closing. The most devastating weapon of the enemy is the reinterpretation of your story.
Reinterpretation.
Yes. The darkness wants to catch you when you are exhausted, sit beside you, and make you look back at your long, hard life and see only damage.
That is so true.
It wants you to view the fires you survived as proof that you are broken, that you are tainted, and ultimately disqualified from your calling.
Like the scars make you unworthy.
Exactly. It wants you to look at your hard-won scars and see them only as disfiguring wounds. But heaven sees those scars as the weapons of wisdom and radical empathy that they truly are. Your survival is your highest qualification. Do not allow the shadows to reinterpret the masterpiece of your resilience.
And how the divine responds to Elijah in that moment of despair provides a vital roadmap for us.
It is so beautiful.
It is. Under the broom tree, begging to die, Elijah is at his lowest. But the response from God is not a stern lecture on faith.
There is no condemnation.
None. It isn't a demand for immediate resilience. First, the response is entirely physiological. Sleep, baked bread, and water.
Rest.
Restoring the physical vessel. Only then comes the gentle, recalibrating question. What are you doing here, Elijah?
Such a quiet question.
Elijah vents his profound feeling of isolation, crying out that he's the only one left, and God simply recalibrates his vision. He reveals the existence of 7,000 others who have remained steadfast.
7,000.
God validates the pain, but completely shatters the illusion of isolation. This directly addresses the deep loneliness associated with threshold moments.
You feel so alone.
You may feel like you are fighting an unseen war with no allies, but the reality is you are part of a vast, unseen network of individuals holding the line in their own lives.
You are not alone in the heavy air. Thousands are standing exactly where you are.
Absolutely.
But while we must guard our minds against the whispers of the enemy from the outside, there is a secondary trap waiting for you right here at the threshold.
And we have to talk about this one.
And I warn you, it is far more dangerous because it is far more subtle. It is a trap not built by external darkness. It is a trap built by your own mind, woven meticulously from the threads of your own desire for safety.
Yeah, we have to transition into examining internal resistance.
The resistance inside the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This requires asking a highly confrontational psychological question.
Which is?
What am I protecting that my calling requires me to lay down?
Oof. That is a heavy question.
It is. Because very often, the intense friction we feel is not a spiritual attack at all, but the tension of our own growth pushing outward against the smaller, comfortable version of ourselves that we refuse to shed.
The old skin.
Right. And this introduces a concept the texts refer to as the weapon of almost.
The spirit of almost.
Yes.
It is a seductive, velvet-lined cage.
So seductive.
It is a perpetual state of being almost ready, almost healed, almost whole enough to begin, almost fearless enough to take this step.
Just needing one more day.
Just one more day, one more sign. Listen to me, with the urgency and love of a mentor watching you stand on the edge of your greatness. The spirit of almost is like standing in the open doorway of an airplane in flight, with a perfectly packed parachute strapped securely to your back.
You're fully prepared.
You are fully equipped. The glorious expanse of the earth is laid out below you, but you refuse to jump. Why?
Why not jump?
Because the wind is loud, because your heart is hammering against your ribs, because you are waiting for the sensation of fear to completely evaporate before you step out into the sky.
And the psychological safety mechanism of almost is brilliantly deceptive.
How does it deceive us?
It insulates you from the ultimate vulnerability of giving your absolute maximum effort and potentially failing.
Yes.
If you remain only almost ready, you retain a built-in excuse. You never have to face the crushing reality of what happens if you step onto the battlefield and take a hit.
It is safe.
It keeps you perpetually poised for greatness, enjoying the identity of a seeker without ever having to manifest the reality of a doer.
A forever student.
Right. It is self-sabotage, masquerading as wisdom and meticulous preparation. We wait for perfect conditions, total external validation, absolute internal healing, zero fear. But the reality of human neurobiology and physics is that those perfect conditions never arrive.
They will never arrive. Consider the shepherd boy David standing in the valley before the giant Goliath.
The ultimate underdog story.
We read that ancient account, and we love to imagine a fearless, mythical superhero marching into battle with a heart made of stone, completely devoid of doubt.
Unshaken.
But that strips him of his humanity. When David reached into his leather pouch and gripped that smooth stone, do not believe for a fraction of a second that his heart wasn't pounding a frantic rhythm.
Oh, he was terrified.
Do not believe his palms weren't sweating. He did not wait for his hands to stop trembling. He ran toward the giant with trembling hands.
Wow, with trembling hands.
The running itself was the prayer. The forward motion was the manifestation of faith. Understand this fundamental truth. Fear leaves the body during the movement, not before it.
Not before it.
If you wait for the fear to vanish before you jump, you will die of old age standing in the doorway of your own destiny.
The frameworks we are analyzing are definitive on this point. The old, cautious version of you, the ego-driven version that demands absolute certainty before committing to a decision, must experience a psychological and spiritual death right here at the threshold.
It must die so you can live.
Exactly.
Ew.
The commissioned, empowered version of you physically cannot rise and occupy the space of your calling as long as the old, fearful version is still gripping the steering wheel.
You cannot have two masters.
Standing in the doorway is a state of purgatory. It drains your executive function and ultimately aborts your purpose.
Standing in the doorway is no longer a permitted option for you. The time for deliberation has expired.
The window is open now.
It is time to lock in a decision. It is time to sever the heavy ropes tying you to the spirit of almost and step fully, irrevocably into the blinding light of your calling. You must activate this breakthrough.
And activating the breakthrough requires a shift from passive absorption to active internal rewiring.
What does that look like practically?
Practically, this involves consciously releasing the guilt that you have been carrying for outgrowing certain environments.
Let go of the guilt.
It requires abandoning the exhausting, unwinnable campaign to secure approval from people who are fundamentally committed to misunderstanding you.
They will never understand. Stop trying.
Right. Furthermore, it involves sharpening your reticular activating system, the part of your brain responsible for filtering information, to recognize subtle opportunities.
Because they don't always look like miracles.
No, the texts note that breakthroughs rarely announce themselves with fireworks. They enter quietly.
Very quietly.
Disguised as ordinary conversations, sudden urges to read a specific book, or a gentle nudge to take a different route home.
Remember, true transformation in the physical world is merely a delayed echo of the transformation that has already been finalized in the spiritual and mental realms.
The inner creates the outer.
You cannot walk into a new, expansive reality carrying the cramped architecture of an old mind.
Precisely. The foundational shift must happen inside your own consciousness first. To aid in this specific internal remodeling, the source material points to an audiobook titled How to Awaken the Rich Mind Within You.
A powerful tool.
It really functions as a tool to restructure how an individual perceives abundance, purpose, and possibility. The premise is that you cannot manifest a life of impact if your subconscious is still operating on a scarcity algorithm.
If you believe you are poor in spirit, you will remain so.
Right. It's about rewriting the internal code so that when the external opportunities of this compounding window appear, your mind recognizes them as familiar rather than foreign.
You must remodel the sanctuary of your mind. And part of that remodeling requires you to use your voice.
Vocalization is key.
You must open your mouth and speak intention into the atmosphere around you. You must issue the decrees of a warrior claiming their territory. I'm going to guide you through 4 specific declarations right now.
Listen closely to these.
Do not just let these words wash over you. I want you to plant them deep into the soil of your heart. Speak them with the absolute authority of someone who knows exactly who they belong to.
Yes.
Consider this first decree: I am not what I've been through.
Letting go of the past.
Let the heavy chains of your past shatter as you accept that truth. You are not the betrayal you endured. You are not the failure that kept you up at night. You are the fiercely resilient spirit that survived the fire.
That shifts the identity entirely.
Consider the second decree: I renounce the spirit of almost.
Getting out of the doorway.
Evict the hesitation from your posture. Step decisively out of the doorway. You are no longer waiting for external permission to be powerful.
You're giving it to yourself.
Consider the third: I am not moving toward my purpose. I am standing inside it.
Wow. not moving toward it, standing inside it.
The waiting room is officially closed. The long years of preparation are complete. The very ground you are standing on right now is holy ground, and it is the exact battlefield you were born to command.
It brings everything into the present moment.
And finally, declare this. I am the weapon heaven sharpened in the dark.
The forge.
Every tear, every long night of isolation, every moment of crushing, breathless pressure was the blacksmith's heavy hammer. You are not broken. You are forged. You are lethal to the darkness.
And, the psychological synthesis of adopting those decrees is incredibly potent.
It changes the brain.
It does. When you actively speak those concepts, you are fundamentally shifting your neurobiology. You are moving your brain out of a defensive reactive crouch, where you play an endless game of whack-a-mole with the symptoms of anxiety and spiritual attack.
Yes, always reactive.
Right, and instead you are stepping into a proactive stance of high cognitive and spiritual intelligence. You cease to be a victim, enduring a chaotic storm. You realize that you are the storm itself, moving with intentionality and profound backing.
You are taking hold of the authority that has always been rightfully yours. The cosmic timelines have shifted, the window of momentum is wide open, and the hidden years in the dark have built a foundation of impenetrable, solid rock beneath your feet.
Just to synthesize the vast journey we have mapped out in this deep dive.
Please do.
You have successfully survived the agonizing pit of unseen preparation. You have navigated the delays and the darkness, allowing the forge to temper your character rather than destroy it. You have now crossed into a precise 30-day cosmic window of compounding momentum, where the historical gap between your actions and their results is shrinking rapidly.
The compression.
Exactly. You've learned to unmask the enemy's subtle post-victory whispers of isolation, recognizing that psychological warfare is merely a desperate attempt to reinterpret your powerful story as a tragedy.
A failed attempt.
And most importantly, you have permanently renounced the safety of the threshold. You have recognized the deceptive cage of almost and chosen the forward motion of David over the paralyzing fear of the giant.
We have journeyed deep today, my friend, soul to soul. And as we prepare to part ways and you step back into the flow of your life, I want to leave you with one final, lingering realization.
Let this sink in.
Let this truth settle over you like a warm, profound peace. We spend so much of our short lives, so much of our precious energy, praying on our knees for the universe to remove the massive, jagged mountains that stand blocking our path.
We just want the easy road.
We beg for an easier road. We cry out for the terrain to be flattened. But I want you to consider this. With all the ancient wisdom your spirit can muster,
Yeah.
what if that mountain was never placed there to block your path?
What if it wasn't a barrier?
What if the universe placed that monumental obstacle there so that in the agonizing, breathless, beautiful struggle of learning how to climb it, you would finally discover that you were born with wings?
Wow.
The heavy exhaustion is lifting. The threshold is behind you. The iron doors of the forge stand wide open. The air, the sky, the vast, unbroken expanse of your destiny, it is all yours. Step out into the light. Walk forward in unwavering peace. Until we meet again, remember exactly who you are.